And welcome everybody. I'm filming this video a bit different today. Instead of filming it and then doing a voiceover, I'm trying to see how it works with me just talking to you with my camera. Hopefully the sound is okay. I've never done this before, so we'll see how it goes. I want to show you my new junk journal, and then I'm also going to flip through my old journal at the end so you can see all the pages. Not everything that's in my journal has a video, so some things I post to TikTok and Instagram. You can find my links below to those places, and sometimes I just journal on my own. So yeah, you won't have seen everything that's in that journal, so we'll have a flip through of that as well. But first, here is my new journal, and I wanted to try and create a prettier cover. So I always have a fabric cover to my journals, but I have so many beautiful trims and things and laces and doilies laying around that I wanted to try and have sort of a mixture of all of those beautiful things on my cover, and I love how it turned out. This is a lot of work to do it this way, but I think it looks really pretty. So I started off with this piece. This was on sort of a mesh material, so I trimmed out this flower, and this was sort of the inspiration for this journal, for the theme. So I took the pinks and the reds and the greens, and that's what I worked with, and also some of the black as well. So then it's got these laces, two different laces that I've added. This is a doily, this white piece behind, and then I've got a black lace scrap running along this line. I've also got this really pretty green trim, this leafy ribbon trim, and I added that in two areas. I added that along here first, and you couldn't see enough of it, so I added some up here as well, along with some hot pink ribbon. I needed some more of the darker pink on this page. There is actually some hot pink, oh here it is, under here as well, and also this green bobbly trim. Sorry, there you go. And then I've got this beautiful floral trim, another green doily, and then just a scrap of fabric. For the spine, oh, and the background is this just sort of plain green coloured fabric. I tried to go for something quite plain because obviously I've got all of this going on. The spine has a pink dotted fabric. I'm not sure how much of that you can see through, but then it's got this beautiful, I'm not sure what you call it, mesh lace type fabric over the top with all of those colours that I wanted to emulate. So it's got the pink, green, red and black in it, and then the back is just that plain colour, plain green colour material. I then added some tassels. Now I need a proper eyelet clamp, I think it's called, but I didn't have one. So I tried to just sort of hole punch through this, and it didn't really work through the fabric. There are so many planes going over me right now. God knows why. I don't live near an airport. I do live near an RAF base, so that might be why. Anyway, I hope that's not too annoying. So I tried to punch a hole through this, but it didn't work through the fabric. So through the fabric I just used my pokey tool that I used to bind to my books, and that worked. And I just threaded through this these cords and added all these pretty beads that I've got from various places. So again, I've gone with some greens, reds and pinks, and some silver and gold in there as well, because you can't go wrong with silver and gold. All of the fabric that's on my journal has been sewn through by my sewing machine, and then all of these pieces I actually hand stitched. So I cut out this size, cut out the right size of this fabric, and then spent many hours in front of my TV hand stitching all of this onto this fabric, and then added the whole thing onto my book, onto the cardboard that I use to make the covers. So let's have a look inside. You'll see a lot of papers repeated. I tend to do that. There's a mixture of vintage papers and pattern papers that I like. Also, this paper is from the works, so I've added that to both covers, and I use that to bind my pages as well. So I bind my pages to this card, and then I add this card into my spine, and then I sew down it, which is why I've got this line here. I don't know if that's the proper way to do it. That's the way that I do it, and it keeps everything in place. So yeah, that's just how I do it. Some of my pages are brittle and old, and this one's really thin, so they've got sellotape, and some of them will have some washi tape as well, just to make them more secure in my journal. So let's flip through. I love this paper from a old engineering book that I completely forgot about. I've also added fabric and lace in different areas. So this one's sort of a belly band. And then I've got a few sort of tabs. This came in a scrap pack from my local haberdashery. So because I had quite a few green ones, I've added them throughout. And to bind my pages, I'm just using embroidery floss, so I went with green for this one. So you can see here where I've added this washi tape. This was really old. This is actually marks from the old sellotape, which I really like the marks from it. But yeah, so it was falling apart a bit. But I wanted to add it to my journal, so that's how I got around that. We've got more pockets in here. This signature was actually taken from my old book. You'll notice my books don't have many pages. That's because I really bulk them out. I like to add lots of dimension onto my pages, so I add only a few signatures, and then each signature has 5 or 6 papers in it, folded. So yeah, that's how I do mine. I've seen people create lovely bulky ones that are then just used for journaling, which would work lovely, but because I add in so much onto my pages, I need the room for it to grow. I absolutely love this trim. This again came in a scrap bag. I love this pattern paper as well. That's a Maggie Holmes. We've got an old diary in here, and again, like I did in my old journal, I've got some of these skinny pages. I like to add different sized pages to my journal. I like these pages because I can journal straight onto them, which will be nice. This is from some packaging from a paper pad, but again, anything I don't want to see, I'll cover up when it comes to actually creating in my journal anyway. Got some vellum pages as well. I've only got a couple in this book because I ran out of room, but I love the vellum pages in my old books. It's definitely something I will continue with. This beautiful daisy trim was also in my old journal. And then these pages that were too big to fit, I folded over, so again it creates extra room in my journal. We've got another pocket. More of that engineering paper. This is really lovely paper. It's really smooth, but it's just really thin, which is why I added the tape. Children's book paper, another pocket, and this. I adore pom-pom trim, and this one being bright green was just perfect for this journal. Green is probably one of my favourite colours, so that's why I added a lot to it this time round. So that is my new journal. It's got 5 signatures, like I said, 5 or 6 pages folded, added in, so 10 or 12 pages. And yeah, lots of hand stitching, machine stitching, fabric, laces, lots of texture. I absolutely love texture. You'll see as well, when I've added stitching, I'll leave these threads loose. I love how that looks. Yeah, I think this is probably my favourite cover that I've made. Also, because I used quite a thin card, it's really flexible, which is nice. So yeah, it looks a bit flat at the minute, but it doesn't take long for it to look like this. So this has only 4 signatures and only 5 pages in each signature, and that's how bulky it gets. So that's why there's not many pages, because yeah, I seriously fill this out. So stick around, we'll go through this. I'm just going to put on some music while I flip through this journal, just so I can show you all of the pages that you may have missed. Some you'll recognise from videos, yeah, some you won't. But yeah, we'll have a flip through just with some music over the top, and I'll see you next week for our first spread in my new journal. Thanks guys.